Hey everyone, welcome to another live chat here on Orchestra Careers. I am Sonia Thomes, creator of orchestracareers.com, and so excited that you are joining us today. I want to tell you a little bit about our guest in just a minute, but one of the main reasons that I decided to start Orchestra Careers was so that students could discover all the careers available orchestras on and off the stage. And so I'm excited to introduce you to our guest today. Kevin Gupana is, hey Kevin!
Hello.
Yay! Kevin Gupana is our development coordinator for events and communications at the Chicago Youth Symphony Orchestra. And I am so excited to talk with him because he and I have a couple things in common. Number one, we're both oboists. Woohoo!
Woo!
Number two, we are both Chicago Youth Symphony alumni.
There's my CYS picture.
Yeah, I didn't wear my hoodie because it's so super hot here in Nashville, but I got
Yeah.
so blue and white here today.
Perfect.
And number three reason of things we have in common is that we both love our careers, and parts of it we didn't know existed. And we've been able to kind of craft this blend of things that we love to do into a career. So I'm so excited to share your story. But first, I thought it would be fun for people to hear how I even got connected. I was that last summer, I don't know if you remember this, but last summer I was watching Chicago Youth Symphony on tour on Instagram.
Oh yes. And Sonia here DM'd us while we are. So I'm a big part of my job is social media, and Sonia here DM'd us while we were on tour because I was doing lots of stories. And the first thing you sent us was your CYSO memories from tour, which is amazing. And it's amazing to know that it had such an impression on you.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember being on tour, but it was the mid-90s, so we didn't have Instagram.
Yeah.
But I was marveling that you were sharing this, story on the road, and it was so wonderful for me to see it because it brought back a lot of memories as an alum. And so, yeah, I was compelled to reach out and reconnect with Chicago Youth Symphony. So it's been really fun to then get to know you and get to know the staff, hear what's still going on at the Chicago Youth Symphony every single day. And so even more reason for me to bring you on here at Orchestra Careers, because part of what I want to do is help students discover all the careers available. And you have such a great mix of everything. So let's dive right in because
Sure.
I'll start back at the beginning. As a young oboist growing up in Chicago, how did you find out about the Youth Symphony?
Yeah, so to be honest, like when I entered high school, I got super serious about music, and I had a couple of friends that were in the Chicago Youth Symphony Orchestras, and they were upperclassmen, and I like getting to know them. I really looked up to them, and the moment I found out about CYSO, I wanted to be a part of it because just having sat in my first orchestra concert the year before and like talking to them about that experience, it was so transformative for them. And so I mean, like, who doesn't want to be a part of something bigger with lots of different kids from around the Chicago area, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I remember when I got in, it was this whole other world that opened up for me to play in such a big orchestra. And I was remembering that those pieces that I learned in youth orchestra are still the ones that I know best today. Brahms,
Almost definitely.
Bartok Concerto for Orchestra, Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony, Berlioz Symphonie Fantastique. And so what did it mean for you to be in a youth orchestra like the Chicago Youth?
Sure. So, I mean, I share the same sort of sentiment with all these pieces that I know by heart. Like, I know The Rite of Spring by heart because we played that at CYSO, and I know Shostakovich 10 by heart. Like, all of these pieces are so deeply ingrained in my brain, you know? But to be part of to be part of the organization where all of these people are so passionate about classical music, and like you in your high school when you like don't know many people that know this about you or know this love that you have for the music. Like to be able to go to that place every weekend and to just like dork out about, oh my god, did you hear what Eugene Izotov did at the last CSO concert? Or to have the experience of, oh my god, I just listened to this Stravinsky piece again and it's amazing. Like to have that, and to have that sort of camaraderie with people, and to have that deep connection. I think a lot of your viewers will understand, or a lot of musicians will understand, that deep connection that you create with other players is so unlike any other thing that we've experienced. And to just continuously have that was such a big, big like experience for me. It was so important to me. And a lot of the friends that I have today are from CYSO. I mean, like, and a lot of them are in really big orchestral jobs. Like I was just Facebook stalking my friend Christine Murphy, who's one of my best friends from CYSO, and she is now the assistant principal of the Baltimore Symphony, playing flute. So just
Wow.
to have those connections with people, like those were like the deepest friendships that I have to this day.
I I totally agree. I mean, some of the people that I met, it was like, oh, these are my people. Like I can really lay into, lean in and myself. And it really helped form my identity as a young musician. It gave me a lot of confidence, maybe sometimes too much confidence. I was a pretty sure of myself young oboist, by the time I got extra. But I mean, it helped really kind of crystallize what I wanted to do with my life, or what I wanted to do, which was really I wanted to be with you someday. So you're having this experience in high school. Then what was your path to get beyond high school to college? What were you thinking about doing at that point?
Sure. So I went to school for music, and I went to the Chicago College of Performing Arts at Roosevelt University, and then I did my master's at University of Houston, all in oboe performance. So my heart was pretty set on performance, and I like have a lot of experience, and my education's really based in that. But I will say, like, I had the really unique experience of um, going into music, no, like having that experience, with that in mind, but also right before I went into music school, I got an internship with the Chicago Youth Symphony Orchestras, to help them in operations over the summer. They do that yearly. Like they hire some of our very own CYSO students, and they still do it to this day, where we have them help us over the summer to prepare for the next season. And I was lucky enough to be chosen as one of those people. And so I got the experience. I did that internship, and I learned so much about operations and about how an orchestra runs. And I developed kind of a brain for organizing things. And as I went through music school, I kind of like had this idea of like, you make your education what you will. Like
Mhm.
whatever you do in your education, like you can do whatever you want with it. And college is the perfect place to do that. And so um, I did all the music school things. I practiced, I worked really hard, and I also like made a lot of opportunities for myself. I played in lots of chamber music groups. I put together different performances, and from there I like really just organized and did whatever I could to learn what I can in music. And um after that, I kind of I after my master's, I kind of found myself um, at a crossroads of, do I continue, like do I stay in Houston, or because I was in Houston at the time, and I was trying to decide if I was going to continue with my performance diploma, or if I was going to go home and like take a bit of a break, or and just really take auditions and see what happens and freelance, because I had a lot of connections in Chicago at the time. Um, and I kind of I decided to go home, and I found myself like freelancing and having a really good time doing different gigs. And um, by December of that year, I had a lot of gigs, and I um, kind of found myself in a crossroad point where I was like, oh, I don't really have gigs for the coming year.
Mhm.
Um, and I kind of took a second and evaluated. I found myself looking for jobs in arts management just because I had that experience in CYSO where like I understood what organizing things was like and what putting a concert together was like, and I did a lot of that in college. And so I applied for a job that ended up being for the CYSO. And I got an operations job with them, and the person that interviewed me was the person that was my boss at CYSO when I interned there. And so it was kind of a one thing led to another type thing. And now, oh, go ahead, Sonia.
So I'm curious, like at this point, this kind of crossroads, you kind of felt like, you know, do I go to Chicago? Do I stay in Houston? Okay, so you made a decision. You went to Chicago. It's like you got that far. And now what I do? You're applying, you're doing gigs. So when you applied for these arts management jobs, did you feel like unsure if like that was going to close the door on your performance career, or did you see it as just kind of complimentary to? Because I mean, some people are concerned, like, how do I manage it all? Do I have to pick one? Can I only do one thing? I mean, here you are, an oboist, and that's what you want to do. That is a part of Kevin. But you also had this other exploration in the internship. So you knew there were these other things, ways that you could contribute. But were you concerned or worried that if you chose that arts administration job that maybe your performance would suffer?
That's a really good question. And there was that hesitance. I to be like 100% honest, there was that hesitance, but like, because a lot of your teachers will tell you, like, really just focus on winning the job, or focus on like doing everything you can to practice and get better. And I had a moment to myself where I was like, you know, like, this is such an important part of my life. Like, I will prioritize this when I can. Like, if it's really that important to me, I'm going to prioritize it. And there was that hint of doubt, but when I got the job and when I started applying for jobs, and I started with a part-time job with the CYSO.
Okay.
And I had the full intention of being like, the part-time job is the part-time job that's going to help me make ends meet, and then like the practicing is going to be like the full-time job for me from there. And I was able to do it. And when I reached this crossroads of like, do I take a full-time job with the CYSO? Because after taking auditions and all of that, because I proved to myself that this was 100% possible. Like this, like having a job outside of just practicing, like it taught me to be really diligent about my time, and to be really conscientious of how I'm spending my time. So when I had that crossroads of, do I take this full-time job with CYSO in development? Could I do it? And there was the question of like, are you ready to quote unquote give up your dream of being an orchestral musician? And I sat there for a second, and I was like, you know, like it's okay for me to have multiple dreams. It's okay for me to do anything that I can to pursue everything that I'm passionate about. And just, I feel really lucky to be in this situation where I'm pursuing music, and I'm pursuing music in different fields, and they're both equally as important to me. And like, it is fully possible that like I proved to myself that it is fully possible to pursue both things and be happy and passionate about everything that I'm doing. Like, music is my life. There's so many different facets happening that like there was that hint of doubt, but quickly, as soon as like I got into it, I proved to myself that there's so much that you can do with your time.
Well, I think that the key, some of the things you said were, it's almost like a commitment, a choice that, yeah, these things both are to me. They're both important to me. I got to figure out how to do them both. And sure you want to do them both well, because I can just tell. So the word prioritize, that is great. I mean, we need a method then. All we need is a method as to how then accomplish this. It's time management, it's prioritization, it's commitment, and it's, I find in my own life, it's being really selective about how I choose to spend my time, because then I can really still be intensely devoted to something. And so I love it. I think that students and everyone, we all need to remember that we can accomplish what we want. We just have to make choices about how we're going to prioritize our time, what we're going to devote to, and maybe some things that you don't get to do that you are going to sacrifice. I'm sure you've made some sacrifices. But you know, is it worth it though? You know, and so I think that that is really the key to remembering how to kind of chart the path towards your dreams. Is it's possible. You just have to figure out the method to make it all work. So, okay, I want to press pause on that because we're going to come back to that. But what does it mean to be a development coordinator for events and communications at the Chicago Youth Symphony?
Sure. That is a big question, because like in the times that we're living in now, it's transforming quickly. But at CYSO, my big job is to fundraise and to make sure that the messages that we are sending out to our donors and to several people that want to that are interested in supporting us, like my big job is to make sure that that messaging is clear and that it's compelling so that people will jump in on that. And so the big part of my title is events and communication, and my big job is to put together donor events and our like big event of the year, which is our gala. And so like my big job is to manage sponsorships and who's coming and how much money we need to raise, and to keep track of how much money we're spending for this particular event, and how that messaging will land when the night of comes, and what are we trying to say to our constituents. And so my big job is to make sure that this event or all of our events, people feel special, people understand what CYSO does, and people understand why it's important to support our youth orchestra. And for me, that job is really easy because I come from, you and I both know, like we're alumni of the organization. So to talk confidently and to talk about what this experience does for people, and to get them on our side to say like support us, and to make them support us is an easy job for me. And I'm so passionate about making sure every single kid can have the experience that is CYSO. And so a lot of my job is really surrounded around what does that messaging look like, how do our donors feel, and how can we approach this to make it something that is easy to jump onto.
So when you and I were talking to prep this call, you said along the way, maybe it was in college, people started telling you, hey, you're pretty good at that, you should do that. Was this one of those things, or were there certain skills that you have to do now that you had to really work hard at? As a combination of both? But what were people telling you, hey, you're pretty good at this, you should probably think about this? What were those things, and what impact did that have on you?
Yeah, so I mean, like it really all started even at CYSO when I did this internship, where the executive director at the time said, like you're actually like really good at this sort of stuff, like you should consider pursuing this. And at the time I was like, I don't care, I'm just going into music right now. Yeah. And I moved forward and did all of that. But even my teachers, all of my college teachers, my master's, my graduate studies teachers, all of them were saying, you're really good at like organizing stuff, and like you're very personable, like you should think about like trying to use that in your career moving forward. And again, it is something that was like I like noted in my brain, and I know this about myself, but it wasn't something that I really figured out that I could apply until a few summers ago when I did another internship at in Napa Valley called Festival Napa Valley. It's a 10-day music festival in Napa, and I was kind of thrown into putting together or I was thrown into a development internship that I wasn't expecting, and what my big job was to make sure that our donors who are housing some of the musicians that were part of the orchestra for that festival felt like they were being heard and felt like they felt special. And a lot of that work kind of made me realize and a lot of people were saying, you're really good at talking to these people and being really friendly and using your quote unquote customer service skills. A lot of people were saying that. And at one point I got back to CYSO after that internship, and we had a development position open. And the last thing that I remember from that internship in Napa was someone saying, you should think about a career in development. We could see, I can see, you've got a lot of really good traits for this. And when I got back to CYSO and I saw that job open, I was like, can I apply for it? I think I could do a good job at this. And at the time it was a big tentative, I think, but looking back on it now, I can say I'm really good at doing this sort of stuff, and I'm happy to use my brain in this way, and know that I'm really good at getting people on board. And the effect of people telling me you're good at this, it's important, because it builds your confidence in that way, and it helps me realize oh, these are the skills that I should lead with in my career. I mean, this doesn't even happen in just the orchestral career or in the administrative respect. People often tell me, you're a really good second oboe player. And that was my first, my teacher at when I was at CCPA, Roosevelt University, she was like, you're really good at second oboe. You should consider auditioning for jobs in this field.
You must love low C sharp and low D flat.
I love it. And I love that I can just articulate a low B flat and it just comes out. Oh, wait, Tonya, I can't hear you. Hello?
I think you have superpowers.
I'm experiencing a little lag on my end. So
are you still there?
I'm still, I think it's lagging on my end just a little bit.
Uh-oh. That's okay.
I'll just go on even in the orchestral respect, people
will roll with it.
Yeah, you just got to roll with it. It allows you to roll with it and lead with the things that. Yeah. Oh, hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but going along with what you're good at, it helps you move forward and roll with it, and it helps you develop the traits that you could really lead with in the field. And so I'm auditioning, I can audition for second oboe parts or second oboe positions. I can continue with development because I know I'm good at it and I'm developing these skills. And it really helps clarify the things that you should, you can lead with it when you pursue your career in anything.
And be reminded that there's power in encouragement, and that power that I have as an encourager is really cool, because the people that I can pour into, they might not realize. It might be very obvious to me that you're good at making connections with people, but you might not have realized that yet. So that's a good reminder for in my organization Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now. Yeah, now I can
Okay.
hear you.
Yeah. Okay, go internet. Okay, so knowing all that you know now, how would you encourage students? What do you think they need to understand now or focus on now that maybe you didn't realize when you were a student?
Yeah, you know, I think like I would want to tell like if I were talking to Kem Gupana on the onset of college, like any advice that I would want to give him, I would say like yes, like pursue your studies and pursue music to the fullest extent and really focus on it, but be open and aware of what people are telling you and pursue your career and pursue your studies with an open heart and an open mind, because you never know where it's all going to lead you. Like it's so important that like and you continue to do what you're doing. Like it is so important to understand that like you yourself have a lot to offer, and what people are telling you, um what people are telling you, they're telling you the things that you're good at. And so if you lead in with an open heart and an open mind, it's going to lead you to places that you never knew existed. And I think like as I think about all the students that I see glitchy. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's all
I'm
good.
so
It's funny.
sorry.
Like CYSO, a lot of what we're doing right now is virtual, and a lot of what I'm helming is live streams, and so I totally understand this sort of situation that we're experiencing.
Oh my God. Well, it
Definitely,
keeps us
definitely.
humble, right? Well, there was one question I
Sure.
definitely want to get to, and how can we support our local youth orchestra now in COVID-19 and after? I mean, I just been thinking about, because I work at the Nashville Symphony, like support is needed more than ever. So how can we with our local orchestra or with the Chicago Youth Symphony support these
Sure. I mean, I
organizations?
think my big thing is that don't let up, or don't think that the experiences that, especially if we're thinking about youth orchestra specifically, like don't think that the experiences that we're offering virtually aren't worth it, because they are so worth it, and we're working really hard to make sure that the experiences that we can create virtually are worthwhile for every single person. And I feel like with orchestras as well, like that situation where, I mean, everything that we do inherently is an in-person thing, and to have that stripped away so quickly is scary and heartbreaking. But we are such active voices in our community, and we're, especially at CYSO, we are so passionate about making sure that we continue to be that beacon of light for a lot of kids, a lot of people. And so as we continue to go through this time, if you are a part of a youth orchestra, or if you're an alumni of a youth orchestra, reach out and see what your local youth orchestra is doing to keep an active voice in this time. You know, right now is the time to see how people are rising to the occasion to use their voices. And I'm really happy to be part of this UISO team in making a worthwhile virtual experience. And so if you have the ability to donate, donate. If you are at the age where you are and you're in a youth orchestra, like see what they have to offer virtually, because it's going to be really worth it. I see what's happening behind the scenes at CYSO, and I'm excited because we're offering a lot of things. Like we just did a masterclass with Emma Gerstein yesterday, our first virtual masterclass yesterday. Emma Gerstein is the section flutist at the CSO, and so she's also a CYSO alum. So tune in to see what's happening and continue to support in that way. Have your eyes on that, on your local orchestras, your local youth orchestras, and see how they're using their voices. It is a hard time, but it is a time where a lot of beauty is going to come from it.
And just imagine those first notes of the first live rehearsal. I mean, I get teary just thinking about it. It's going to be so amazing. And it really has affirmed for me that music matters. Life is not complete without it. And
Oh,
live
most
music is
definitely,
just
most
better.
definitely.
So, is there anything we didn't cover that you want to talk about or you wanted to share with our listeners?
I think the only other thing is, like, I mean, I said it, I just want to reiterate, open heart, open mind. Like, I had no idea that my career was going to go in this direction. And I am so happy. Like, I am pursuing music to the fullest extent while doing development and creating different skills. Like, I've never used Adobe Photoshop before or Adobe Illustrator, and learning that is incredible. And so anything that you do in any part of your career, you can use it everywhere. So open heart, open mind. I think that's the biggest thing I want to impart to everybody that's going to watch this.
That's good words for all of us, right? Keep an open heart in all of this, open mind, ready to explore opportunities, ready to make your own opportunities if you need to. And so if people want to talk with you more about your career, what's the
Sure.
best way to get
You
in
can
touch?
DM me on Instagram at kguppy1014, or the CYSO Instagram, which is right over here. If you just say my name and that you want to talk to me, I'm more than happy to talk to you on the CYSO Instagram. Or you can email me at kgupana at cyso.org.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, for persevering through tech issues. And I'm going to put this up on YouTube so everybody can be sure to share the link and careers page.
Thank you so much for having me, Sonia. And I just want to say one thing, for all of our CYSO people, and like CYSO week, we have a virtual thing that's happening the first week of June, June 1st through June 5th. And we're going to be premiering a lot of really great content. You can see what CYSO is up to. So tune in on Facebook and on Instagram.
Woo! So I'm so excited.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.